Hey guys, welcome to Axial GT. With 2020 actually being over with now, and thank goodness for that because it would drive a person to drink, let's go ahead and look at the controversies that surrounded the past year, and hope for a better 2021. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Well, saying 2020 sucked is kind of an understatement. We have quarantines, we have lockdowns, but it did bring a lot of people into the gaming space, due to actually having nothing else to do. But 2020 has also been ripe with controversies. These here will just be a few of them. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future Axial GT content. Let's really mess up YouTube's algorithm by letting them think that I'm a better YouTuber than I really am. Now to start off this video, we'll go ahead and talk about Dear Girl. Now this here is Ferociously Steve. Steph. This is Ferociously Steph, and she's a transgendered girl that actually believes that she is a deer. I know. And now, do I have a problem with that? Well, no, not the transgendered part, but the deer part, yeah, because I actually think it's kind of odd that if you look closely, she is a male deer. You can tell by the horns. Male deer have horns, females do not. Unless maybe you're a caribou or a reindeer, which is actually the same species. But anyway, she's been trolling the Twitch community and the game community as a whole by saying things like this.
It's really not that. I think a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Sorry. Just a fact of how I feel.
Which actually happens to be the biggest BS statement ever made. But I guess opinions are like these. Everybody has one. She first gained notoriety by making this statement about voice chat in games.
Chat to not have people give up their linguistic profiles. I mean, and maybe you think, if you are a competitive gamer, which a lot of people have been like, Steph, you're not. You clearly know nothing about competitive play. Well, competition, by the way, y'all, competition requires you to get every advantage possible. To become the top 0.01% in any video game, you have to squeeze every amount of advantage you can possibly get.
Oh, and we also can't forget the famous Deergasm.
Start and come back to here, maybe. Nice and soft. They'll sort of give you feedback on your scritches. And they're pretty sensitive to scritches. So scritches in different areas get different reactions from forest creatures.
So Twitch decided to put this person on their advisory council, which I'm sure the other streamers that they put on this council were probably the real deal. But Dear Girl made it a big joke. Kind of makes you wonder who's running Twitch. But anyway, moving on. Then Epic Games put out this little commercial to recruit their younger Fortnite audience to their cause. You see, Epic Games isn't happy that Apple takes 30% of the revenue through in-game iOS purchases, which is actually the industry standard. And also Epic CEO Tim Sweeney also tried to compare his company's actions with civil rights movements that were happening in the US at the time, which is a real bonehead move. But I will say, obviously he has not learned that judges do not appreciate when companies try to use the court of public opinion. Then we have CD Projekt Red. I'm sure now, when the hype train first started in 2020, that it's something they could actually take back, because this is a hype train that was the end-all be-all of all gaming. Everybody wanted to play Cyberpunk 2077, and the game was actually delayed 3 times. But the game actually wasn't ready for launch. It wound up being an extremely buggy mess, and more so actually on base consoles, which I did a video about that I'll link in the description below. Now I will admit, PC players were a lot more fortunate, and I've actually enjoyed the game. But it really doesn't change the fact that they did lie to investors, and the public in general. But it's a funny thing about the internet, there's no takebacks. They're going to have to deal with this and the loss of their reputation, which is kind of really sad because I found them the last bastion of hope for actually good companies in the gaming industry. Now I also did a video on crunch in the gaming industry. More or less it was a reaction to Young Yaz's video. See, I think crunch is a bullshit term. They're confusing some forms of crunch with actual overtime, which everybody has to do. I'll link that video in the description below too, just in case you're interested. Next up, we have the banning of Dr. Disrespect. And sadly, even here at the end of the year, we really don't know why. But the best running theory was over money. Twitch decided to show how ethical they were by banning the doc just to get out of his contract. See, when they signed Dr. Disrespect, Mixer was a thing. With Shroud and Ninja going over to Mixer, Twitch didn't want to lose their only cash cow, which was Dr. Disrespect, or at least one of their biggest cash cows. So they signed him to a multi-million-dollar contract. But once Mixer went under, they had no reason to pay him, so they banned him. But what did we learn in all this? We learned that Shannon Z Killer and Slasher are full of it, who just turned out to be ambulance chasers on Twitter. That's what we learned. And as for controversies, here's one for you. Did you know the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 launched in 2020? Didn't know that? Well, it wouldn't be surprising since you can't buy them. Same goes with computer parts. AMD's Ryzen 5000 series is non-existent, along with the 6800 and the 6800 XT and the 6900 graphics cards. Nvidia hasn't fared any better. Their new 3000 series graphics cards are non-existent too. But you know who can get them? That would be scalpers, by using bots and grouping up together to increase their buying power to where there are none on the market. Yes, I know there are a few lucky people that actually were able to snag some of these, but for the most of us, we cannot get them. Now, I did a video earlier about one of the punishments that I think scalpers should face by meeting my main man Steve here, which actually was meant as a joke. Well, only partly. Now, the video didn't really do very well, but that's my sense of humor. So be it. And now we come to the censorship controversy. And who's at the forefront of that? Well, it's none other than Twitch. They like to seem to ban words, like the words simp and virgin. Now, for those of you who know me, I'm against any kind of censorship, because it's always a slippery slope once you start censoring something. People always take it way too far. But Twitch seems to have its fair share of controversies every year. Like I said earlier, I don't know who's running that place, especially to ban the word simp. See, where I'm from, there's different ways to say the word simp. Actually, simp is actually a nice word. Where I'm from, we use the term suck-ass or brown-noser. Now, doesn't simp sound a lot better than those terms? So yes, it's really sad that Twitch seems to want to ban words, especially one as innocuous as simp. Now, this next one really isn't much of a controversy as to ask the question why. Now, we're talking about Belle Delphine. On Christmas Day, she released, let's say, a spicy video bearing all and more or less doing all. Now, you probably know what I'm talking about, and you may have heard of it. But I'll say that I've actually seen it. And I say she shouldn't quit her day job. Well, who am I kidding? She don't have a day job, besides just trying to sit around and look good. And my only advice to her is, maybe if you're going to do something like that, maybe you should actually at least act like you want to. In this video, she did not. And I'll also say, if she thinks that it'll only be on her adult site only, that's actually pretty naive. Now, I'm not going to say how to go see it, but if you use your powers of deduction, I'm sure you can find it on the internet. So I say, why? Why do that? The girl makes millions of dollars a year. And I know there's been many more controversies throughout the year, like Ubisoft and their sexual harassment problems. But I think this video has gone on long enough. What do you guys think? What were your biggest controversies of the year? Tell me in the comments below. I read all of them. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future Axial GT content. I really appreciate you watching. Until next time, I am out of here. You all have a good one.